Hey guys, welcome to the next installment of the series. Today, I was planning on jumping into GitHub management, but I think I'm going to instead do theme management or templating. Last week or last time, we talked about Bootstrap and how to use it and how it's by default with the system. And talk about blade templating. But what if you had your own theme? What if you had, let's say, what's a good like what's a good theme? Like let's say admin LTE theme. I think that was one of those that are really good. This is completely a free theme. Let's say you wanted to use this theme. It's a nice theme because it comes out of the box. With mobile support. My system's lagging a little bit today. But let's say you wanted to use this theme. How would you integrate it? How would you add it to your application? A lot of these theme assets are pretty useful. Let's say you wanted to use a donut chart or a little chat box, or some type of a user list with members. It's pretty common in application development to use themes like this, and you can buy lots of themes from ThemeForest. And if you go over here to the HTML and go to admin templates, for example, there we go, that you can buy for a few bucks. Now, the problem with some of these themes, like let's say this is a really nice theme, it's pretty. The licensing here doesn't actually allow you to resell the theme. Now, you can use it for your own application where people can come in, but you can't make money off the theme. And if you actually make modifications to the theme, you can't. Well, let's read about the license actually. License. I don't know if the license actually is here. There you go, regular license. So used by you or one client in a single end product which end users are not charged for. The total price includes the item price and the buyer fee. So to use this theme and you wanted to charge someone to log into your site, you can't get the $23 one. You have to get the $700 one. Now, themes like this, like Admin LTE, they're more of MIT licenses or JPL or GPL licenses. Those you can use on your app. So you just have to read the licensing. So let's say we wanted to use this theme. Maybe not. This is a little dated, I think. Maybe we can find a better theme. Should we try to look for a better theme online? There's some better ones out there. Let's try MIT Bootstrap templates. I think I've seen this one. Start Bootstrap. It's pretty nice. But ones like start. Let's do this one. SPI admin 2. This looks okay. So there's a free download. MIT license. This one you're good to go. So let's preview it here. Yeah, it looks great. I like it. Components, buttons. That's what buttons look like. This is what cards look like. Some other things like colors. This is your style guide. This is what your borders look like. Animations, other. And then it gives you some example pages. Like this is going to be like your login page. This is, oops, pages. This is going to be your registration page. And then this is going to be your just normal blank page. So I like it. So let's hit this free download button and download the theme. And I recommend going this route because this fits right into what we're doing. So what I do is I just extract the theme and rename it to _theme and place it into my public file. The reason being is I want it to be separated from the entire flow of the application. It's not specifically going to, we're not going to interact with it, but we will know that the things that we're getting, the assets like JavaScript, CSS, is from the theme, and there's going to be a line that I draw basically saying if you wanted to update the theme, you can. And this is why I did this. So I'm separating the components out so that we can update the theme later on. Because themes do get up to date or updated. They don't all just run the way they are. So here's the theme, and if we look here, we have a blank page. And if you view, let's say, if I'll inspect this, you can kind of see the anatomy of the theme. So they have HTML, they have a page top, a wrapper, and a content wrapper, and they have content. They also have a sidebar, obviously, right here, and they have a footer. So what we're going to do is this content section, we're basically going to put our data in there. So we'll take their theme and break it apart into little pieces and put it into our blade format. So I'm going to close all this and minimize all this, and you guys can catch up. So you should see the default view, which is the anatomy of our project right here. And in the public folder where you just dragged the theme or _theme, in there, if you open that up, you can see an index file. And the index file just basically has what it takes for this application to run, or sorry, for this front end to run. So you need to access vendor font free, and then you need to add, well, this one goes straight online and pulls Google's font. Here we need CSS, admin, SB admin. Oh, SB stands for Start Bootstrap. There you go, Start Bootstrap. Down below, looks like everything else looks okay. I'm just looking specifically for any type of references. I think we should see some JavaScript down here. So it looks like there's a few JavaScript references right here, and they're locals. As you can see, they're vendor. So it goes into vendor and then pulls that file. We can't really use this. This will probably break. So we'll have to rename that. So I'm going to close this and minimize this. Now that's just a public folder. We don't need anything there right now. In resources is where our application lives. We have the welcome and the home option. So the first thing I'd like to do is figure out, is there a page for like actual home page? I know there's a dashboard page. Here's our dashboard, but is there a page before the dashboard? And there's a login, so maybe we can use the login. So let's do that. So when somebody comes to welcome, let's not take them to welcome anymore. Let's take them directly to login. We'll just skip the welcome page. This would be like your website, your brochure website, and this would be the backend admin area. And then obviously login is here. So what I need to do is in views, in layouts, I'm going to create a new layout. So this is going to be our theme. Yeah, actually we can say, we'll just say theme.blade.php. And then in theme, it's almost like our main. So this is going to be our main layout. Yeah, okay. Index. So theme index, we'll grab all of this. Since we're working on the, yeah, let's do two of them. One for theme and then one for theme login. So we'll do theme login.blade.php. So I'm going to close all here. So in resources, under views, under layouts, I created two layouts, one for theme and one for theme login, which if you look in the auth folder, it has the login one, and we could actually load it into the auth folder, but Should we? Yeah, let's do that. Doesn't really matter. It's kind of limited. We'll just have our layout. That's cool. We're good. So let's go into login. Grab all of the example HTML that's in the login folder of our theme, and go to our theme login blade file that we made and paste it in here. Then we're going to basically keep everything the way it is, except I guess that's what we don't need this. Yeah, okay, so that's a good point. So no, that's good. Sorry, I'm just trying to wrap. I just went a little different direction than I was planning, but it's okay. So now we have our full, and it doesn't quite work yet. We do need to modify our login page, so to now use the new theme rather than our old theme. But I want to actually preserve the old one, so I want to rename this one, refactor, rename. So this would be .orig. Cancel. I do not want to search for that. Refactor. And then I want to refactor the old orig. Then I want to refactor the old verify .orig. Then I'll create new ones. So let's start with login.blade.php. And they don't have to be called this. You can call them new ones, but these are the original ones in case I need them. And here I could just do extends at extends. We'll say layouts.theme login. So at this point, because the theme login isn't yielding any content, I really don't have anything, any kind of section to actually use. So in my own local app, so let's run that. There you go. So this one where it says login, instead of now pulling the original login, now we're pulling, oh, there you go. Layouts, theme login. It says syntax error underscore data jokes off login blade. Ah, I just had a misspelling somewhere. What was the misspelling? Oh, I didn't have a single quote right there. That's what it was. Refresh. Alright, we're good now. So that was weird, but anyways, I'll probably cut that part out. So right here, when I loaded the theme and I just copied and pasted the HTML, you notice it's broken. If you right click inspect and view, oh, I guess you have to wait, and go to console, you'll see all of everything broken with this page. There are about this many, 3, 6, there's about 8 errors, which is actually really cool because these are all JS and CSS errors. We can easily fix that. So if you go to your theme login and scroll down right here where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, those are our 4 JavaScript files. They go to vendor. So you have to replace this because now we're looking at the views folder, but it's actually referencing something in the public folder under vendor. We can say this is going to be an asset, and it's going to be in theme, and then it's going to be in vendor. Then we can basically say, hey, you're pretty much all in the right spot, you're just supposed to be in theme folder. So same thing goes here, and here, and here. Then we need to add the that back in there. So let's see what that did for us. Alright, so now we only have 2 issues that are CSS issues. So you're probably wondering what I just did. Well, using the asset function, well actually the curly brackets means within the blade file you want to use PHP. So then I said, hey, curly bracket, use some PHP, use this function called asset, and the asset basically pulls everything from this public folder, anything you want in there, and then you just choose that structure. So it'll automatically fill that for you. So now let's scroll up to our CSS file. So we'll do the same to our CSS file. We have 2 CSS files that have the same issue. And then copy that, paste that one too. So it looks like I've got everything in the login page. I even added a yield, which is not important at this time. I thought it was, but it's not. So I'm going to refresh. There you go. So now our page, our login page, is now using the themes page. We plan to add this later, but what I like to do is remove things that we don't quite use yet, just to clean some things up. So okay. So we were able to load. We created a theme login layout, but the layout contains information that shouldn't be in the layout. For example, this form should be moved into a login page here. So that was what I was doing a little bit ago. So basically, at yield login, like that, or actually this would be content, and then grab this and save. So now this is still our layout, our basic template. I'm going to remove some of this text just like that. This is basically our template, and then in the middle I want to inject my login form basically. So down here I'll say at section content and section, like that. So basically it'll take this information, our welcome back and our login, and then it'll put it right into our theme login. The reason is we want to use the same for registration, so we want to duplicate. We don't want to have to copy and paste this twice. And then so let's look over here, say refresh, and nothing should change. Now if you go to register, it'll probably break. So we'll do the same thing for register. So see, it says register, auth register not found. So let's go down here to resources again. And this one, I want to put this one back the way I had it. It was login. I thought this was a problem, but these are the same thing. So here where it has register, we'll have to create another register. So we'll go to auth, right click, new file, register.blade.php, and then this one is going to add extends quote layouts.themeLogin. And if I just went here to register and refreshed, you'll see that it's pretty much a blank page because we took out all of the innards of it, and now we have to fill it with our registration information, which up here in their example they actually provide registration. So right here it's under P5 you have we can pull as far as this, I think. That's good, yeah. Register, and at section, the same section content, we'll recycle, and we'll say end section, like that. There we go. Form starts, form ends, horizontal rule. We don't need this guy. Save. Cool. So now registration should be also here as well. Now we don't, we're not going to populate. This doesn't work yet. I guess is my point is, we have to actually wire all this stuff up. So I think we're ready to do that right now since I'm not logged in anyways. Let's do that. So to make this work right away, we can we can actually pull our original files. So let's say login, or let's do login original. Open that up, and you can see there's a form, and the method is post, and the action is route login. And we even have some login text for us. Right now, we really only need this. Well, right now, so let's migrate this guy over. So we'll go to login, and there's the form, and it has a class user. We can preserve that class. Cut that, paste, because it's probably a design-related class. So it looks like this. We need to include our cross-site scripting attack, whatever, cross-site request. I gotta think of what the F stands for. Function. I need an adult. Okay, so next thing is we need all our labels and names. So here where it says input ID, email type, email form control. This is a class, and it basically says if we have an error of emails and it's invalid, then it adds is invalid to that area. So to the actual function itself. So right here, let's go to login. We're working on this little guy. Basically, if you try to log in and it's wrong, it comes back, it'll highlight it, say that it's wrong. That's the logic here. So we'll need to transfer, and then what the actual issue is here. So let's see how close we actually are. So we're actually pretty close. The only thing is we have some additional classes here that are kind of different. So let's bring this down here, and then log in. This one, we can still copy this, and we can compare. So we do have a type ID. Here we have a different type of an ID, so we don't really care about that. Ours is better. And everything looks good. The only difference is we need to add this guy right here. Everything else, we are good to go. And then for the password, it'll be the same thing. Copy. Form control user, like that. I don't need the other one. Now, for us, we do have better error logging, so we can add error logging underneath it. And then for the password, we can add our error logging to the new theme as well. There you go. So now we have email, password, error logging, everything that comes with by default. Basically, if you try to log in and you come back to this page because something failed to error, this will pick it up and it'll say, hey, if there was a password error, and then it'll actually show what the error is, you know. Then down below we have remember token, which I don't think we even support in the new one. Oh, there is a remember me. Cool. So here's a remember me, so we can actually migrate this as well. Come over here, remember me. Here you have a custom check and a custom control input class. So we need to migrate both these. Here we have a form check input, an ID, and a remember ID. I think it might be okay. I think let's just copy this guy over. Everything else we're good. Now, let's remember me fails. We have our login, which doesn't go to that location. We need to change this to an actual button. Button type equals submit. There you go. And then log in with Google and log in with Facebook. We're not quite ready for this step yet, so I'm gonna just check this out. Forgot my password and we'll create an account. That's a register, and that's register is going to be in register location. And then forgot my password, it's going to be forgot, which I don't think we have that set up yet, but we'll get that set up. So if we did everything right, the other areas should disappear, except we have two horizontal rules here we'll need to fix. So looks like we use one here and one there, which is kind of the same thing. So remove one of them, and welcome back. So here will be bob@me.com, and then looks like we have two remember me's. Boom, and login worked. So we did everything right, except we have two remember me's. So control label. I guess we'll copy this. We'll paste it here. That's another thing. We need to replace these spots where it says welcome back with our new text, which is passes it through our language, so that later when we if we want to add a different language to our system, that welcome back gets converted as well, or translated, excuse me. Same thing with forgot my password, and same thing with create an account. And this might be something that you might be tempted to do later. I would recommend do it while you can, so that you don't, it just makes it less of a headache to come back to in the future. The other thing is our old system has labels, and this one has placeholders, so we actually need to add a placeholder here. So email, and then here we'll have placeholder without password. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we're in. Now our dashboard, so we were able to get login work, but we weren't able to get registration to work yet. So we'll hook up registration here soon. I want to kind of move on to the dashboard if possible. So the next thing is we have a, should I move on to registration, or yeah, let's do that. Let's move on to dashboard. So the dashboard, we have an index. So if we come back to here and we see this dashboard looks really nice, let's use this dashboard and then fill it in with things that we care about. Actually, I don't really care about any of these items yet because I don't know what we're going to do. My plan was to have a jokes inventory, and it doesn't look like we have any type of a jokes inventory, but we do have this table, which is like a data table. We could potentially use it, but cards are fine. Let's just do this. Let's leave it as is. With the way we have it, but instead just add this and add an empty area here where we can then add jokes as we go. Maybe all our jokes will look something like this. Cards. Maybe we can use cards for jokes. Actually, I like this cards page. Let's actually pull this cards page. This will be our dashboard. So I can't do the page search. This is the. It looks like it's the cards page. So let's go to scroll up and go to the cards page, Control Alt, copy, come down to our new theme blade and paste. Then scroll up. It's going to be a big one just because there's a lot of data. We have the wrapper, and then we have the divider, looks like, we have the side header, nav, content. content, so the main content area. I'm going to leave this as is, and everything below the main content or inside the main content, I'm going to move out into its own area. So here we go, copy, erase, and here I will add yield content. There we go. And the footer, we'll fill this in here in a little bit. So now our home page currently is using layouts app, but we don't need this, we need theme. And so now instead of using our app, the original, it's going to use the theme one. And then the section content still stands, and everything should still function as is. The only thing is we have a container now, which is kind of weird. It might actually not actually work right with the container. So there you go. So we have a few broken items, but we do have data loading into the right theme. It's just not quite functioning yet. So we have a few broken things again. So let's go down to our theme and find all of the areas where we need to substitute the URL and point it to the right location. So let's start with this bad boy. So find any reference to a CSS file or JavaScript file and point them to the right theme. That way, all these minimized files, if they ever get updated, you can just update. You can just update that same folder, and you don't have to update anything else. You don't have to go fishing for them. You just update the entire folder. I'm going to make sure that we always separate the theme into its own isolated location. So there we go. So yeah, space here. Good. This is kind of weird too. I kind of put that in the wrong spot. Careful with quotes. They will kill your app. There you go. So we're able to fill those in. Anything else here? See how many errors we have now. Refresh. Looks like everything loaded right. The only thing is our internal app or our internal blade file has a container and it's overriding the above. So if you look right here, it has its own container, it has all its own stuff. So we'll need to remove that because we're not using it anymore because our theme is handling this. The parent theme is. Might have been able to use a row. Something else is missing here. Let's see. Console. Everything's perfect. Let's come over here. Perhaps we don't need that anymore. Now let me grab this stuff. Back over here, refresh. Oh, okay. So I got it. So we're good here. The only thing is, I think we might have erased too much, if that was a thing. Down here, all our nav stuff on the left is fine, but in the main content area, potato fluid, oh, where? Content, there it is. The content wrapper contains a nav bar up top. It's called a top bar. We have to preserve this. Actually, there's quite a bit of things, alerts. Nav bar, item, message. Okay, so the content area isn't really the right thing, but it's okay. We'll take all the way down to the nav and container fluid, all the way down to here. Actually, I think I did that wrong. I think it was supposed to be within, right before that, like that. Copy. And this is, I theme blade. There it is. So right here where we have, we actually need a little more here. A little more adventure. In the container fluid, we can actually say div with content like that. Then after, this is also the page heading. This is also important. Which we might actually separate it out into its own responsible area. Basically what I'm doing is shifting HTML in different files and putting them together, and I'll kind of explain why I'm doing that here in a second. Okay, cards. These are all our cards that we need. Come down, container fluid ends, and div ends, and then footer. Footer I think we already have, so that should work. Fresh. There we go. And this doesn't quite look right. I think I like the way the cards looked here much better. I think it was, which one were we using cards? It was like components, cards. I like the way this looks much better. So if I right click this, inspect, you can see the anatomy of the card, which I think looks like it has a shadow. And then it has like a margin 4. Is this the one? That's the one. If you go edit HTML, you can kind of see, yeah, we have quite a bit of stuff here. I wonder if we can do shadow. So in our home page, and then in our card, I want to add a couple of cards. I want to add a couple of CSS classes that their theme comes. Next, I'll just continue on with what I'm doing. So see you in a little bit.